What's going on, guys? Your boy Amazing here, back with another video, and in today's video, guys, we're here with another Duet Abyss video to do the Hellfire build guide. Now, I want to preface at the beginning of the video, just like I did with my Sibyl video, that this character, guys, has scaling in the skills of the character that are not as strong as other characters. The reason why is because Hellfire and Sibyl are both HP scaling characters, and so the scaling right now in the game for HP percent is not really as good as attack percent, let's say, right? Or like, you know, general damage bonus percent, right? So yeah, that's the thing right now, where Hellfire is a little bit underpowered. But in today's video, I'm gonna be able to show you how to get Hellfire to do over 150k on the skill, you know, in some like exploration secret letter farming, right? So yeah, let's actually talk about these skills of Hellfire, exactly what she's able to do, and then we're gonna go over the build that I'm rocking for today's video. And also be sure to hit that like button, subscribe, guys. We're on the road to that 6,000 subscribers now. Recently hit that 5k. I appreciate y'all. With that out of the way, let's hop in. So first skill right here is going to be Raging Inferno. Enters the Retribution state. Retribution is going to deal pyro damage to nearby enemies once every 2 seconds. If Hellfire takes damage during Retribution, extends the state's duration and deals Puncture Retribution pyro damage to nearby enemies. So Puncture Retribution is going to be a little AoE effect. So it's you can see actually that the scaling on this is way better than the periodic damage scaling. You can see 147.1% max HP plus 477 on your skill damage, right? So you do get it like a fairly good amount on the Puncture Retribution, but the actual like Retribution itself, guys, is kind of low at 79.9% at the level 6 level. Now I do not have any of the weekly material for this character specifically, so I'm not able to get past level 6, and I do think that this character will improve with that. But yeah, at the moment it's still fairly, you know, solid, and you could definitely run it for like a secret letter farming setup, where it's pretty much acts as like the Rebecca's like jellyfish in a sense. That's pretty much what this skill is. Now moving on to our ultimate here, Cage of Despair, deals power damage to surrounding enemies and taunts them. Now you can see here that the damage is going to be 257.87% and then plus max HP. You can see here actually, guys, the ultimate does only a little bit more than Puncture Retribution. You can see there on the percents, it is fairly similar, which is kind of crazy, right? So another like 100% of your max HP as damage, but like you can see there that it is you know, kind of close, which is pretty wild, right? At the same, yeah, and then the damage radius is gonna be 50 meters, which is pretty much a fairly good radius for like the AoE on that. So you are pretty much gonna be hitting like everyone in your radius. And then yeah, we do have a fairly good amount of you know, the duration there being 5 seconds for the taunt. Could definitely be a lot better if you have you know, higher skill duration. And the reason why this is at 50 meters, by the way, is because we have so much skill range, which we'll talk about. So yeah, moving on now to the passive effect, guys. Retributive Resolve. So we have increases max HP and continuously restores HP. You can see the max HP boost is 93%, and then HP recovery per second is when you 0.3% max HP. And then she does also have Guilty Verdict, which is going to increase damage dealt to enemies taunted by Hellfire. So when you do your ultimate and then you do a follow-up skill, the enemies are going to take a little bit more damage because you do get 50% damage percent boost. And then yeah, other than that, guys, obviously she has her combat AI skill, which we're not going to be covering in today's video, and then she has skill duration and a little bit more HP on the skills right there. Now moving on, guys, to the, you know, main part of the video here, the demon wedges for the build. Now I did opt to go with a lot of HP percent. Now this could be a thing where there is diminishing returns, and I'm not 100% sure exactly how much HP this character needs to be at, and then you start focusing on skill damage. But this is what I decided to go with for today's build, guys. So we have Nirvana at max dupe. This is the max HP wedge. Now again, you can actually use the, I think there's the max HP wedge for purple of this, right? It would say Clash right here, right? So Nirvana right here. So you could definitely run like a max Phoenix Nirvana right here, and then, you know, just run the HP for that. I have the gold one finally maxed out, so I am going to be rocking this one. We do also have Sphinx Trap, guys. This is really good for when you're doing like secret letter farming or any character that does AoE farming. You know, Hellfire is not a boss damage dealer, I'm gonna be honest, guys. She's definitely more of a AoE farming character, kind of like Rebecca. So yeah, having, you know, Sphinx Trap is gonna be a lot better than Duel, let's say, because you're getting a lot of damage dealt for the amount of enemies that are gonna be around you, which there's gonna be a lot because you're doing, you know, secret layer farming. Now the other thing we got is Typhon's Prime Morale. Obviously morale is going to be very good for Hellfire, since she's always pretty much going to be at like max HP. Morale is the higher your HP, the more damage you deal, and this also does give us some HP percent, which is going to boost our damage. We do now have as well, guys, another 5 Covenanters Nirvana Spectrum. So you can see here, this is actually very good for Hellfire because it gives 48% HP and skill range. So we have 5 of these on the build as well. So you can see that we're getting a lot of HP in this build. We have a fairly good amount of damage percent damage dealt, And then yeah, we are getting some morale. So that's kind of what I opted to go with. I know some builds do run Devouring Wildfire and even like Midnight Sun, and the reason why they're running that, by the way, even though you guys can see right here, like gains an attack stack, that doesn't matter. It's the skill damage part. You can see that pyro characters don't really have skill damage wedges. The only skill damage wedges they have are Devouring Wildfire and the Griffin sets, right? So you don't really have too many options with that. So what I decided to do for today's build is run as much HP on like Hellfire as possible, and then on my weapons I'm running the stat sticks for skill damage. So you can see the Wainwraith right here, 48% skill damage. I actually have it max duped, so that's why it's giving so much, but at base it's still giving 24%, which is very good. And then my X-Career Duos right now, guys, is 2 dupe at the moment and is at 33% skill damage. So if we actually look at the skill damage on Hellfire here, all the skill damage we are getting is from our weapons, and the rest of the stats are just from the actual build in Demon Wedges itself, right? The Demon Wedges are providing all that HP. We're at 13k HP at base, and then we have the skill range, and then a little bit of duration from the actual like skill of Hellfire right here, right? So yeah, let's actually show off exactly how Hellfire works now, guys, so you can see it in like a, you know, kind of a combat scenario. Now what we're gonna do is I'm gonna spawn, you know, these enemies right here, the Gorilla Filthoids, and I'll make them unactive, and I'm gonna spawn 20 of them. Now remember, this is a character that's not gonna be a crazy DPS character. It's just a character that's going to be really nice as a DOT, and you know, a character that you're going to run like Rebecca with her jellyfish, right? It's one of those types of characters. So when I do the skill here with Hellfire here, guys, you're going to see the original hit is going to do a fairly good amount of damage. You can see 15k, and then it's going to start to take another 15k. If the enemies were to attack me, I would do the I think it's Punitive Resolve. That's the one where it like hits them and it does a crazy amount of damage. So what I'll actually do this time is I'll defeat all the enemies. I'm going to spawn them in again. I'm going to let them be active this time. So you guys saw 15k right there when I do hit them. And then let's actually make them like this, and I'm going to make it so that they are active now, so they're actually moving. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to try and get all the enemies in around the same spot here. So I'm going to try and like, you know, bring these guys over, and yeah, we're going to, you know, bring all the enemies together here, and I'm going to show you guys what the damage looks like, because then we'd get, you know, pretty much max trapped, and we'd actually see a lot of the damage. And you guys will see here as well when I go, as you can see, we're healing, you know, that's another thing too, the continuous like HP recovery. We're pretty much always going to have max morale. Now when we go for the skill, guys, you can see the damage now at 30k. And yeah, I mean, if we were to get the Punitive Resolve right there, we'd be hitting a lot more in terms of the DPS. And yeah, it just definitely depends on the amount of enemies within your radius, which is, you know, ideally what you're doing with Hellfire is you're clearing out a bunch of like, you know, mobs, right? So let's actually make them a little bit higher HP this time. So I'll do level 80 enemies, you know, to be fair, and then we're going to spawn them back in, and we're going to try that exact setup. So I'm actually going to, you know, try and group all the enemies together again, and we'll see if they try to hit Hellfire, and we can actually see the damage with that as well. So yeah, we're going to bring these enemies over here. We'll have them walk all together, so then we have them all in a group like this. And then what we can do here, guys, we can do the skill, and then let's see if they actually try to damage us right here. And we get, as you can see, like the AoE right there is 37k that we're getting from Punitive Resolve, and that is also going to increase the duration, as you guys will see under my face cam of the actual thing. You can see it's at about 10 seconds, and then it keeps going back to about 10 seconds. So you see the enemies are just going to over time just die, and you can pretty much AFK. That's the idea with Hellfires. You pretty much AFK, you deal a bunch of AoE damage, and yeah, that's what this character is all about, guys. So if you do like that type of style for a character, then she is going to be very good. You guys saw right there, we pretty much farmed all those enemies by doing nothing. I've used the skill once, and I just sat there. So now what you want to do in terms of your combat AI support, you want to be running a Truffle and Filbert, and you want to be running a Tebeth. So these two characters right here, the reason why you're rocking them is because, let's actually pull up the armory again, and I'll show you guys. But if we go to the characters here, Truffle and Filbert is providing a damage percent buff, right? You know, when we're using Hellfire, we can't run any like attack percent boosters or any characters that are boosting attack. But you can see here, 75% damage percent bonus from Truffle and Filbert is going to be boosting all of our damage when she does her skill. And then the other character here that we're rocking as well is Tebeth, which is actually going to increase our skill damage, right, with skill damage boost, 44%. And then our combat AI is also another skill damage percent boost. So yeah, we're stacking all of that together here, guys. So now we'll actually increase a lot of our damage. And so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to spawn in, like, let's say level 100 of these guys, so that they're like a lot tankier, right? I want them to be very tanky so you guys can see what it looks like when you have this kind of setup and it's working well, right? So we're going to make them active. I'm going to spawn in 100 of them, and you know, level 100 ones, and I'm going to try and get them grouped up here so we can see how well Hellfire is able to perform here. So let's, you know, start running over here, get these guys kind of grouped up, and then we'll see what we're able to do against them. with Tibeth and Truffle Filber. So I'm gonna go for the skill now. And as long as they're damaging me here, guys, if I just stand here, we're going to be getting a lot more damage now. So you can see in terms of our damage, 60k now, right? So we're doing about 67k, and those are just the ticks, right? So you know, over time, especially if we're getting hit, like if we're getting hit more often from these Gorilla Filthoids, we're going to be doing a lot more damage. So it's kind of, I guess it's kind of counterintuitive that Tibeth grabs the enemies and groups them like that. So I guess you could maybe rock another character so you could always extend the duration of the skill. So that like Tibeth doesn't like, you know, catch them in the little like tentacles and stuff. But yeah, as you guys can see, I mean, the damage over time is fairly good, and it will actually be really strong on the secret letter stage when you're farming exploration, right? That's ideally where I think this character is going to shine, and that's where you're going to see a lot of the use from for Hellfire. So yeah, guys, that is pretty much the build guide right there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to let you guys enjoy a 5-minute clear of the secret letter stage for exploration. We run it on the Anemo stage so that you have obviously the damage percent boost. And yeah, no, like Hellfire is really good on that stage. The only thing I would say is you definitely want to have like maybe like a Rebecca as your combat AI, just so you have some extra like DPS you can do over time. All right, guys, so that's pretty much it for the build guide right there. So I'll let you guys enjoy the clip at the very end, which is just going to be exploration on the level 30 stage for about 5 minutes. It's like a 5-minute-ish run. So I'll let you guys enjoy that with Hellfire there. And yeah, I think she does really well. Again, Tibeth is kind of counterintuitive, but the skill damage boost is really good, guys. So I feel like just at least getting the skill damage boost is going to make up for the fact that you have to keep using your skill, but it's fine. But yeah, that is pretty much the build guide right there for Hellfire. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. But that's going to be it for the video. Hope you guys did enjoy, and I'm gonna see you guys on the next one, man. Peace out. Have a good rest of your day, guys. See you later, man.